Okay, so a bit of a background to this. I don't know, can we? Probably not. Yes. Yes. So I don't know if the light is working or making it a bit. Are you able to turn off the light? Okay. So the background to this paper is that the global demand for skills growing, as we are all aware. In these days, it's impossible to walk into a space that's talking about education and talk about TVET education. So it's an integral part, and there's a need to increase investments in that. There's also evidence that is showing that the quality of women's life improves with TVET skilling because they are able to access more economic opportunities, among others that we share here today. And it's also true that we have continuously run campaigns encouraging to take up TVET because it's an area that for a long time has been closed off to them, and it has mainly been a male-dominated field. And then policies that are being put in place. For instance, the speaker who went before me talked about how the government of Kenya in the last allocation of funding has done a change in allocating more funding towards TVET education, which has led to an increased number of take-of students to TVET. And there's also that once women are skilled with TVET, as women always do, once you have a skill, you find a way of putting it into use and turning it into an income. So there is that. And also most communities have biases that prevent women from engaging in TVET. So these are structural barriers. Like, is a woman supposed to be climbing a pole, an electrical pole, right? Is a woman supposed to be going underground to the trenches if there's a plumbing job? So there are all those barriers that have also kept women from engaging in TVET. There's also data that is showing that women continue to be underrepresented in TVET education, both globally and especially in Uganda, where this case is set. So next slide, please. So on the screen right now is a summary of data of the institutions that participated in this study, showing the intake of TVET students started from 2007 to 2016. And as we can see, the margins are so big that we still have such a long way to go. Well, we were starting in 2059, students was at 865 in 2016. For the men, we are at 14,000. So can we pull efforts together to swiftly bridge this gap and make sure that we are at the same level, or that there is a growing increase in the participation of women in TVET? And we also notice that at some point we will, and then go down, and then we back up. So what is happening around that time that is contributing to the lower intake of students into TVET, of female students into TVET? Next slide, please. So, as we all know, in this world, in terms of population, we make half of the world's population. Yet, when it comes to what we own and the income, out of 100, we have 100%. As women, we only own 1/10 of the world's total income. So what is happening? Who is getting the rest of it? Yet we are 50-50 population. And if we are 50-50 population, should we be getting closer to 50, actually at 50, right? If we are to achieve equality. And we only own 1/100 of the world's property. So if we have 100 pieces of property, only 1 out of the 100 is owned by a woman globally. And this forms part of the challenges that women continue to face and the discrepancies that continue to be they continue to experience in accessing the training opportunity. And in Africa, technical courses have, for the majority part, they have mostly been kind of a reserve for men. And this is not just in TVET, but also in university. When you come to high school, the courses are normally considered to be male subjects. And female enrollment is increasing, as we have seen with the case study of Uganda, but it's not increasing as fast as we would like it to, and we still have a very big gap that is existing. So we need to find out what are some of the injustices that are still being experienced and what can we do to bridge those injustices. So the 4 major areas where we experience discrepancies, it's in economic, education, political empowerment, and health, and we'll discuss a bit more about these in the next slide. So this study has 4 main objectives, and one is to examine the contribution of TVET to women's economic empowerment in Uganda. The second one is to examine women's social and psychosocial empowerment in Uganda through TVET education, to assess the influence TVET preparation of women in acquiring skills, professional growth, lifelong learning, and then to highlight leadership. So the village where I come from, when we have meetings and there's people getting together and you have to nominate one person to be the spokesperson, there's always that one man who you don't know exactly what his academic qualification is, but he speaks eloquently. And even if there's a woman who is a high school teacher or is more educated, this one who we don't know the academic qualification, but because he can speak, he'll normally take up the leadership. And you wonder, why is that? So we are going to see, does skilling of women in TVET, does it give them that empowerment to be able to participate in public and political spaces as well? So next slide, please. So we'll go to the next slide. The findings. So how does TVET contribute to the economic empowerment of women? So we'll focus, the data here is mainly focusing on the study participants. And from those who participated in this study, it was seen that the number of those who were engaged in gainful employment increased from 64% to 90% after they participated in a TVET skilling course. Their income levels also increased by 76% of the respondents, and 52% of them were able to establish alternative sources of income. So if you were previously only employed in one area and earning a small wage, 52% of them, after going through the TVET skilling, they were able to engage in multiple or try something new that brought them more resources. And 72% of women were able to meet their healthcare needs. And this is important, especially when we talk about women's reproductive health and also the health and well-being of their families, because most of the time that responsibility falls on them. So the fact that they're able to meet that is also an important aspect. And then 85% were able to make some savings of some sort from the incomes that they were getting. 45% were able to buy property, and this contributes to an increase from the owning 100th of the world's property. This also contributes to a change in that. And 24% were accessed these properties by loans, and 6 through inheritance, and the proportion from their savings and income. And then we have 84% were able to keep business records once they had gone through this training. So I think from these analyses, when we think about economic empowerment, the data is there and it's clear that once women get access to skilling through TVET, they are also able to improve on other areas of their lives in terms of economic well-being. Next slide, please. So what about their psychological empowerment? What happens to their social lives? So 91% of the respondents reported that they were able to get access to family planning and they were able to use such services. Most of the times, for those who work with communities, when you go to the community, the biggest challenge in accessing services of family planning and reproductive health services is lack of information, right? Like, people don't know enough about it, or when you know a lot about it that is myth and that you have heard from informal settings. But once you have the ideas and the access to information, correct information, you can increase uptake on that. 79% were also able to choose their family planning independently. 93% agreed that acquisition of the TVET reduced their susceptibility to GBV, to gender-based violence. They were less likely to experience gender-based violence once they had had the skills training. And one of the reasons for this is they have a source of income, so they are not dependent on someone else. They have access to more information about their rights, their well-being, so they are able to also improve their agency as independent human beings. And then we have 82% belonged to social groups after completing the TVET, and we have 72% were able to speak up when they did not agree with the decision. So it does a lot to contribute to women's empowerment in their social spaces as well. And 76% of the respondents said that they were able to freely move out of their homes without necessarily having to seek consent. You are able to, so it also contributes to them having that freedom and flexibility and control over their lives. So when we were starting, I mentioned that one of the objectives of this study was to show how does a skill in TVET contribute to people wanting to learn more and grow their level of knowledge, especially for women. So 99 felt that of the respondents felt that they still wanted to learn more after they participated in the first TVET skilling. So the need to access further education and get more knowledge also grows and opens up once they have access to the first TVET skilling opportunity. 64% had career improvement in their fields, and then 73% had attained skills that allowed them to increase their employability opportunities. I think one of the challenges that we continue to speak about is the education we are getting today, does it respond to the needs of the current economic spaces? So if you are getting education and then you have to stay out of work for 3-4 years after you have graduated, where is the gap? And how can we bridge that? And is TVET the bridge between that gap? Because it seems like the spaces these days are looking more for people who have hands-on skills that can be integrated into the workspace. And then 91% of the respondents were ready to pursue lifelong learning. 67% preferred to pursue further training in the same field, and 56% felt they were better to continue growing their careers. Next slide, please. Okay, so in terms of leadership, once women, the respondents who participated in this training, once they participated in TVET skilling, they were able to increase their position in the workplace. So that increased from 12% to 29%. So if previously there were 12 women out of 100 who were in leadership positions, after they got the TVET skilling, that number increased to 29. And that is a growth in the right direction. So 65% of them remained were in male-headed households, but there is also a growing. It contributes to women taking charge in the female-headed households and being able to do that successfully. We also had 32% who showed that they were able to take up leadership positions in their community. So it was not longer only left to the man who we do not understand his academic qualifications, but women were also able to actively participate in community leadership. And then we had those 26% took up managerial positions, 52 were appointed to other positions that they had previously required the qualifications for, and 43 were voted into positions, again, because people who voted for them previously believed that they were equipped and ready for those positions. Next slide, please. So, what are some of the recommendations that we make from this study? Is that similar to what was discussed earlier, policies that encourage female participation in TVET education are important. How do our TVET workspaces look like? Are they gender responsive? Are they fitted with necessary spaces for women and girls to actively participate in? What do their field clothing look like when they go to the field? Are they comfortable for both men and women? So what is the content? How are the instructors conducting themselves in these spaces? Because sometimes that can also be a major deterrent on whether the women who register for TVET are going to continue all the way to the end. The other one is that educators would need to be more gender responsive. They need to apply more gender responsive approaches when they are teaching TVET courses. And then efforts should be made to increase female students' participation in STEM, and having more female instructors as a role model is really important. There's an example that I like to share, that growing up, every time I looked at a textbook, I only knew that if I ever wanted to be in the air, I needed to grow tall and beautiful so that I can be an hostess. That is all I knew. But it is I had seen a few people in the book that always pilot is around here. I was like, this is what I have to do. To be tall and beautiful. If I did not end up in the air, here I am. But I would have liked to know that that is a possibility for me, right? It would have been amazing to know that, I can be a pilot. So representation matters and it's important. And I think we were just having a conversation earlier when he shared about when they are advertising for index about TVET, they use the image of a lady operating heavy machinery and at work. Because when you see that, it's a possibility for you and you have more courage and confidence to take it up. So next slide, please. So in conclusion, constraints of upward mobility for women education, leadership, decision-making, and financial access continues to be there. And women empowerment is crucial as it leads to increased investments in economic opportunities, health, education, and overall reduced poverty. There's a need for lifelong learning, and one of the entry pathways for that can be TVET skilling, and training has developed the capability to develops the capability to exercise control, especially on matters of women and their participation in the workspace. And agency is a very important thing because you're able to make your own decision, you're able to make choices. If you have choices, I think that is the most important thing because then you can choose what you want to do and how you want to access different spaces. So that's the end, and thank you so much.
Please, this is a special clap. Naomi, I wish there was anybody else from the FAWE offices who can pass this word to the executive director. Naomi has done justice to these pieces. Please, this is a special we give, and sitting in this panel, I do not see why this PhD should not be awarded. From aspect of professors' angle, please tell them to invite me to sit in this, because I've gone through this the whole time. People were keen, and I think to the director, Natolea Kofia. How do you say it in Tanzania? Natolea Kofia. How I remove my hat for her. Yes. Thank you very much, Naomi. I think I admire your skills. It is not easy to talk about someone, they say. But the director needs to be careful if she will get this PhD or yourself. That's awesome. Because she owns it. You will agree with me. Naomi talk like she owns this. And now Nasia's not, I agree with me. Thank you very much. I appreciate you from the bottom of my heart. Takutolea Kofia. Thank you very much. Yes, a quick one. I want to involve the discussants, or you can allow me if you have a question or a contribution quickly, one, and then I give 3 other people to give comments on our overall discussions. Do you want to go? Yes, one, and then 3 people that will give discussions. Thank you.
I think it's just sharing my thoughts. I think that was well done. I saw that enrollment, I was like, wow, a lot to be done. But can we also encourage girls? We were discussing earlier, Professor and my discussant here, that I don't know why girls want to take, let me not be quoted here, but the courses on food and beverage, tailoring, hairdressing, those are good. Those are good, don't get me wrong. Yeah, spreading beds. Yeah, those are good. The hotel industries like Ole Sereni here will need those. But guys, can we also encourage girls to take more male-dominated courses like plumbing, like welding, like mechanical, like changing gears? Yo, we need to be in the same level as these jamas, or as these guys who are here. Because let me tell you something. One of the things, and everyone here will confirm, we always have problems in our house with plumbing, changing bulbs. And sometimes you may not, men don't get me wrong, we may not sometimes feel safe, especially if you're a single lady, inviting a man to your house and you're alone. Imagine sitting in a bungalow and probably you have a 5-bedroom and you're inviting a man. You will not feel safe. Yes, he may not leave. So can we encourage more girls in TVET to take up more male-oriented courses and even train our trainers or guiding and counseling in schools to encourage more uptake of these courses? One of the things, Zizi Africa partnered with about institutions in 23 counties, and I can tell you for a fact, I have gone to the 46 TVET institutions, and I have not seen a guiding and counseling or even the principal encouraging girls to take plumbing or mechanical. The first conversation I have is, this is very hard. When you get to second year, grade 2 or grade 1, it's going to be tough. Are you sure you want to go that way? No, we need to change perception, because we have an right, we have an equal opportunity and the desire for us to take. We have to encourage our girls earlier. We are the change makers. As much as we have sisters, we have brothers, can we encourage our girls to take up courses? Secondly, as I finish, we need to create an enabling environment for us to complete TVET courses. And I know a lot of disparities have been mentioned there, but we also need to align it to the competency-based and transform the gender inequality, and also facilitate girls with transition to the world of work, because that is where we are headed to anyway, because we TVET curriculum to the labor market. I am a very big champion of STEM. I'm a very big champion of STEM. But can we also look at what a labor market? Because as much as STEM is there, as much as right now with the Nyakwanza movement, we also need to take up what jobs are there. The research really has shown that construction sector has so many jobs. Buildings are coming. Even when you walk outside here, roads being constructed. When you walk down there, there's a building being constructed. We need plumbers, we need electricians, we need so many people in those spaces. We also need to encourage girls to take up these courses and take up the space and know that they have the equal opportunity for job opportunities. Thank you.
Thank you, presenter, for the presentation, and I would like also to sensitize on exceptional change, basically on the at community level. As we see on our presentation that there is some social cultural barriers that are still limiting women and girls to attend TVET training, and I think here we have to do something, including explaining detail on successive stories to this community. So as the community can see how they can be benefited toward this TVET. And as we know, technical training or vocational training have a multiplier effect. We call one fundi, one engineer, can engage as assistants within a community, and you can see that he or she can other community members. So if the community found this, they will slightly remove the barrier. And we don't have to use a lot of energy or force. We have to educate the community, and through this successful story, they can easily see this. And as we see, the global demand for skills is increasing, and technical and vocational training and education can be the bridge for this. As we see, we have an increasing number for people who are participating in TVET through these studies. So this means that we reduce this demand globally, and if we're well prepared and engaged on our youth and women on this training, so on the near futures, we'll have good numbers of engineers, technicians that can be spreaded in other countries. Thank you.
Professor, if you allow me to mention just one more point. I have seen this work, and I think it's a strategy that we should all use. We've seen the transition when girls enroll, they may enroll 1,000, but those that complete are probably 50. We need to have a very comprehensive mentorship framework that really journey in our TVET spaces with these girls. There's so much discouragement, so much adversities that we go through, and sometimes we want to fall down, but I think that with mentorship, we need to go far. And as we earlier spoke that we are the change, can we also hold someone down? Can we also be a mentor to someone so that we see more girls transitioning to the world of work? Thank you.
I think that's a very key point. Mentorship program for completion rates. Completion rate is a challenge even to the universities, and if you read papers I was sharing with my discussants, look for Omondi and Raburu, published recently. One of my colleagues, she's in the other room, has been a former principal in a TVET. She's presenting in the other room. Mary Omondi, you can read her work even online. She's a former vice principal in a TVET, and we learned something on career guidance and how transition goes. So those are some of the things we need to share so that we are able to do this. Thank you very much, discussants. I think we'll give you a clap when we finish up, or people are ready with the clap. Let's give 5 factorials, including the paper presenters, the discussants, and then 2-3 questions as we wind up. 5 factorial, let's go. How many slept in class? Yes, you know there are people who go with others. They first. Thank you very much. We want to appreciate you for this. Just three comments or 3 questions that you, and that's number 1, 2, 3, 4, if there's time, 5. Just 1 minute if you are able. Number 1.
There is quite GBV, and there's more to be done in terms of gender-responsive schooling environment. So that is the thing. I think it's very crucial that gender-responsive environment should be. And also, you find there's hardly any women role models, women instructors, okay, whom we need. They are not there. So now the issue is where and how do you get these women instructors into TVET? It's so critical. Mentorship was talked about, and also the career guidance and counseling is so crucial. So that is the issues on top of sensitization and trying to attract girls into leadership. That's the key message. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Please clap until she sits down as the number 3 comes on. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I'm Isaac Mbuku. I come from one called Build Her. Build Her is that organization that we empower women through empowering them, giving them skills concerning construction. I love what she was saying. So we are trying to break these jinx that girls, they will have to do they perceive like a simple process. But what we're offering there our women are doing carpentry and joinery. They are doing painting, and also they are doing tiling. And by the end of next year, we are going to start things to do with cabinet making. So we have gone to the construction, and we are trying to discourage women doing these courses that they are so much flocked by girls and women. So this is the way to go. Like, if we can have these organizations that come up and encourage women to do what is perceived as men-dominated areas. And also, to encourage them, we have those mentorship classes also. And also we encourage mentors even from outside to come and speak to the girls there. So we are training purely women, and we are encouraging them to enroll doing these construction courses. And it is encouraging, and the perception is great. We are seeing people, many women coming, like we are, by this December, we are having like 150 of them sitting for the NITA exams. So we are changing, and I'm encouraging everyone that will go and encourage women now even to engage in the sector that is perceived as men. Thank you.
Please, someone take me a picture with Build Her. We'll take up later on. Thank you. I want to associate with Build Her, so that if 150 were all built, then in every country. Thank you. Number 5.
The teacher has said. Thank you, Build Her. My point is really around industry engagement. Young people are looking for work. Young people are looking for money. They want to train with the end in mind, with work in mind. And so have seen very brilliant efforts put in the TVET sector, but then very little put in the industry sector. And so we create very gender-responsive environment in our TVET institutions, but is the industry ready for these women? Will they pay them as much as they will pay the men? We've seen young girls train as mechanical engineers, and when they go to these companies, they're given a very different role. How do we also shift perceptions, attitudes, the industry? Because you're training them for the industry, right? So is the industry ready? And do we have many of Build Her in this conversation? Thank you.
Thank you very much. Half a minute, number 5, and we wind up with the STEM specialist for 1 minute. Thank you.
Thank you. Number 5, the problem of being the last one, everything has been addressed. I'm Winnie from Zanzibar. I'm glad we also were with FAWE. FAWE RS sponsored us, and we supported the 400 girls at TVET, but this is in value addition. But we also fought some challenges, like after school. Now we are doing UN Women. We say work off the farm. So you realize that most of the women, when we ask them, what kind of work would you like to do off the farm? Actually, it was also addressed, tailoring, we have the other body design, and no one went in for carpentry. Yeah, so that is a challenge. And one of the presenters talked about, there are no, from Rwanda, she said, there are no instructors at TVET. So how can you address that if there are no instructors at TVET? So the girls have to see a role model at TVET. Eh? Much as we train them in GRP to do other things, but it's still hard. And we're also glad that the government of Zanzibar has increased the TVET institutions in every region, so everyone is he's trying to promote them to go there. Now, another issue, you know, Zanzibar is a Muslim setting area. So once you tell the girls to go to the other courses, it is a community norm. Say, nani anakuoa, who will marry you? Yeah? So they see you climbing up. You know that issue. So it becomes a challenge. So we also have to look at the community, eh? Because the world is changing. That's all I have for you. Asante.
You and what you mean when you don't. I taught in the Middle East, in Saudi Arabia. When we went for conferences, the men would sit down and we come through another door we are not seeing. But I went to a slightly more open society again in Oman now, where girls sit separate from the boys. You don't walk behind a girl because you may see figure 8 or figure 6, but that's for another day. Thank you very much. As we're winding up, Bev, we will need you for our last comment, but just finish your telephone. I have a special guest, a lady next to me is a STEM specialist, analytical chemist or biologist. I always want to associate with that. She has something to offer. And just to wind, as you warm up your hands for an innovative clap. No, come clap for her until she's settled. Associate with her. I'm a social scientist, but always want to work with Angeline. Angeline makes some hand soaps. What is this? Sanitizers, hygiene solutions for our university, Jaramogi Oginga Odinga University of Science and Technology. Thank you. If you don't praise yourself, that's up to you. I always say what I can do. Thank you.
I just wanted to make a comment that should go together with TVET training. TVET training is skill-based, hands-on. But my experience has shown that it's more of theory than the practicum. So institutions that are offering these courses should have intentional and deliberate effort to heavily invest in the TVET courses so that we do more of practicals, so that the products of TVET have the requisite skills. Otherwise, if there is no deliberate effort to invest, then we shall have more of theoretical products rather than practical products. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Just one more comment, especially to the DREAMS team, because you have direct contact with the girls and you're encouraging them to join the TVET courses. How I wish you would have a very strong career guidance and a motivation to these girls, because the girls in that space are like the new kid on the block. So they're going to be standing out. It's likely that we will go for them. Every time I walk around, once in a while I see a young girl driving those huge machines, and I have to look twice. And I'm imagining everybody does. The other day I was redoing my house, and I was told, the guy who was doing the carpentry told me, the wife does tiles, and I straight away went for the wife. You know, that will work. So let's encourage them that since they are going to be the new kid on the block, they are likely to be hired faster than men. And as those of us who are here, can we also spread that news? Thank you.
Get contact with a child woman. My next floor will be done by this. On behalf of the entire, allow me to appreciate all of you. She had asked which one. Where do we get the role models? It's with us. The role models are with us. We can only find how we spread the word, advocacies. We have those champions. We have them advertising on TV. We have them on podcasts, so that because our girls, they use the media. When they open, they will see a girl painting. So let's use those for our TV adverts. So I just want to thank everybody. Just touch yourself. I want to appreciate you all. Mine is coming special. For me, you are going to give me a special class because I've lost so much energy talking up here. That's Professor Pam for you, and you can imagine, I'm an educational psychologist and a motivation speaker to the teens and to the other people. We want to one last innovation and clap for ourselves. This is the clap innovation that is the power innovation of Buriyani. Let's go. Okay. One more time. Try it again. JOOUST clap. For Professor Pam, for Bev, for FAWE.
Thank you so much, Professor Pam. I think this has been a very lively session, and we've learned things that we can actually relate to, very practical things that we see in our day-to-day life. So thank you so much, Professor Pam, for being a wonderful moderator. For Naomi and Linda, thank you so much for sharing your insights and for keeping our minds active. For dear panelists, discussants, really appreciate your thoughts and comments. So I'd like to call this session to a close. We may all proceed for lunch at Acacia Restaurant, which will be receiving our meal cards at Acacia Restaurant, and we shall all be going back to the main session, Mara Ballroom, at 2 p.m. So do enjoy your lunch. Thank you.
I see trees of green, red roses too.